Salem Dostar to all of my Kazakh viewers out there. And welcome back to Singer Dad Reacts. My name is Josh. Today is a long-awaited day for many of you. I've actually decided to skip forward to make an exception to my chronological method for going through Dimash's performances. And I'm doing that. I made the decision because there's a lot going on in the world right now with COVID and all the different things. And this song, from what a lot of you have said, really has special meaning and is very relevant to what's going on in the world right now. And so I would not be capitalizing on this performance and the timeliness of this song that Dimash has released for our time if I wait until I get to it chronologically, which could be actually sometime next year. So with that, I'm going to move forward with my reaction. And for those of you that are new to my channel, I'm a classically trained vocalist, and I really try very hard to have a full reaction to the song, meaning I do a translation of the lyrics. We talk about what the song means, the story that it tells, how that relates to the artist when that information is available. And then we talk during the performance as to how the artist is creating the sound as far as vocally and the style that artist is employing and things like that. So it's all about really trying to get the most out of each performance and trying to connect with the message of each of the performances in the songs and with what the artist is trying to communicate with their vocal style, the emotions that they're sharing, the backstory, how it personally relates to them and the experiences they've had. All those things can factor in. So if that's the type of thing that you enjoy, then you're in the right place. So this song, and hopefully I pronounce it right, Kairan Ayim, I have on the screen there, you can see music, and I don't want to not pronounce these names correctly, but it looks like Renat Gaisin, and then lyrics Danyar Aldebergen and Oral Bessinger, arrangement by Yerlan Bekchurin. And I got my English translation of the song from Lyric Translate, which is what a lot of you have recommended and what I've used in the past, so hopefully it's accurate. So let's go through the translation here. O my holy land, even if tears have touched your eyes, you do not need to hide your feelings. With love for you, my homeland, I pray for peace on earth. What is the meaning of life without trials? Difficulties temper, and the tempered cannot be broken. But only time will heal everything. And then the chorus, O my holy land, I pray for only one thing. May your heart beat forever. Let all sorrows and hardships be forgotten. Let the sun and moon shine forever. May there be joy in every home, and children's laughter ring. And I wish prosperity to the whole world. So this really speaks loudly to me of a message directly from the heart of Dimash. If you look at the interviews that I've seen of him and his interaction with the people, with the children, what he has said in interviews and at performances to the audience, as far as like really wanting to bring peace to the world and wanting to share a message of love, and also to really educate and bring forward a knowledge of his homeland of Kazakhstan, and how much he loves that land and his family. So that this really speaks of that, but it also speaks to a lot of the challenges that we're all facing, right? There's some profound words in here. What is the meaning of life without trials? Difficulties temper, and the tempered cannot be broken. But only time will heal everything. So it's interesting the wording there too. So heal. So you look at our present situation with COVID, heal is a very universal word to kind of throw in there, right? Time will heal everything. So it's giving a message of hope to say, okay, let's hold on. Let's hold to the things we know to be right. let's pray together. Let's forget our hardships, and let's have joy and enjoy our children, and have an attitude of wishing prosperity to the whole world. So this is the message of the song. So I'm excited to see this performance. Like I said, in my timeline from my channel, those that have been following it, I'm basically around mid to late 2018 with my timeline with Dimash performances. So I'm skipping a full 2 years worth of performances to this song. So I don't know what I'm going to expect, how his voice has evolved since then. And so there could be some surprises in store for me here. But again, I thank you all for your support of the channel. And if you haven't already, if you could please click on subscribe, click on the notification button there to be notified of any new Dimash reactions or any others you might be interested in. I would appreciate that. And let's dive right in here. I do have the English subtitles turned on so that I can see the translations as we go through. I don't know if there's any other English in here, but
Ұлы дала, төрт қолаң тең түскен жерің найдам. Алтай мен Атырау, Жайық пен Іле, Алатау мен Сарыарқа дәуірімнің дәурені болған жеріңнің кеңдігін айтам. Алқалы көшті бастаған түркі дүниесінің бесіктен айтам. Тым-тырыс дүние, деміңді ішіңе жұтпа. Талас пен тартыстың аламан бәйгесінде шабандап қалмаған ұрпағың бар. Құбылған дүниенің құйтырғы қалаға тоздыра алмаған мінезім мәрт.
So I have the English subtitles turned on here, but I'm not getting any translations of this beginning text. Maybe it's only subtitles for the actual song itself. That's too bad. I'd really like to know what is being said here at the beginning. Okay. So I did notice a couple things. It looks like they're chronicling kind of this warring going on. And I did also see the eagle there, the golden eagle, which is kind of this symbol for Kazakhstan. I think there's a different name for it. It's not the golden eagle. I can't recall. But yeah, so I did notice that. I think it was back here. Let's see. I'm going to just rewind a little bit to see if I can bring it up.
Тартыстың аламан бәйгесінде шабандап қалмаған ұрпағың бар. Құбылған дүниенің құйтырғы қалаға тоздыра алмаған мінезім мәрт. Көңілі жомарт, дархан есі бар. Ұлы даланың бөгделер біле бермейтін, өзгелерді сезе бермейтін киесі бар.
Oh, wow. So this is a Kobiz or Kobais, I'm not sure the pronunciation. It's a Turkish instrument with 2 strings.
шыдамса жазған ба елімді сүйіп көтердім биік алақанымды аспанға сынық түспей әліңе бұл өмірдің мәніне.
So he's starting off with just, and he's done this on other songs where he starts off with just this kind of this cry in his voice and this really like soft tone. He's the master of singing softly and having kind of this pleading feeling to each of the tones and the notes that he's singing, but yet there's power behind it. It's not like he's out of breath or he's doesn't have the breath to support the note properly, and so it kind of cuts short. It's more he does it for the emotion as well that comes through in what he's singing. Again, it's kind of this pleading, prayerful, very filled with emotion tone that he has. I'm going to rewind it just a little bit here.
Алақанымда аспанға сынық түспей әліңе.
It's a beautiful setting.
Бұл өмірдің мәніне.
See, the vibrato is still there.
Шыңдайды, шыңдар сынбайды. Уақыт ем болар бәріне.
That's cool.
Қайран менің туған жерім, аман бол елім,
Beautiful melody.
соқсын сенің жүрегім, жалғыз ол ғана тілерім. Ұмытылсын қайғы мұң, жарқырасын ай күнім, шаттансын әр үй, қуансын сәби, тілеймін әлем саулығын.
You guys can tell me, is that Renat, the guy that helped to write it? Looks like he's a very integral part of this whole thing. Yeah, so far this is just beautiful. And you can tell at one point he's going to really bring it out in a stronger verse and build on the message of the song. But it's just, I love too the setting. Everything that Dimash does is very intentional as far as the setting that he has sitting behind him, what he's wearing, the instruments that are chosen to be a part of it. You can tell with this first part, right? I mean, he just has the piano. So it's very simple, very just understated as far as the instrumentation. And I think he's doing that on purpose because he's trying to send a message, and the lyrics send the same message, and that is we need to focus on the simple things in life, the laughter of the children, our families, being good people, loving others, these things that are at the core of importance for the values we should have as a people within the world. And the nature behind him only goes to reinforce that, right? It's like, this is our land, this is our planet, this is Earth. These are the beautiful things of the earth. This is what we should be focusing on. the world around us and the beauty and the hope that we have of a brighter future, right? So that's what stands out to me, and kind of the message, and why I feel like he is choosing all of these different aspects to the song. Let's go back here. I love this lyric though. May there be joy in every home and children's laughter ring, right? I mean, that's what it's all about, Here in America, we just celebrated Thanksgiving, and I got a chance to spend time with my family. And my son, who's been away at college, was here, and we were all together for the first time in over 2 years since my son just got back from a mission for our church and everything. So it was a special time to be together, and it really reminded me of what's really important. My family is important. My friends, these are the important things that we all should be focused on. And I feel like, in a way, what's really neat about my channel is that I feel like all of you are a part of my extended family. And, I've gotten to know many of you, and you've been, very supportive of me and my channel, and providing me good feedback and comments and insights, and kind of directing me, different performances to react to, and filling me in on information. And also telling me about your lives, right? Your families, and where you live and all of that, which is very interesting to me. And that's why I'm starting each of my reactions now with the phrase, "Hello, my friends," in the language of the performer, because I feel like the language is a big part of each of our cultures and what's familiar to us. And so I want to make that effort to get to know that and to reach out in that way to each of you. So let's continue on here. But yeah, this is beautiful. And like I said, you can tell that he's just really, he's not trying to show off or do any of that. He's just sharing a very tender message. His delivery, as usual, matches the lyric. He's not trying to show off. He's just sharing a very tender message through the lyrics and the message of the song and the setting. He's adding a little more power behind it now. Wow. The scenery is breathtaking.
Hasırlarda imenki soxsun senin yüreğin Şalğız solğana telerim
Oh, it's beautiful. The neck of the coppice there. Wow, it's blood. Oh, wow. So one thing I noticed there when he did those high notes is he was bringing the chest voice up into his head voice to create like this mixed sound, which he does a lot. But at the very last note there, he doesn't use as much of that behind it. And so it's like there's less vibrato, less resonance. So it's more just kind of this plea to the heavens, to this higher power. That's what it seems like to me, is that when he extends his arm up there, and I'll rewind it real quick and show you. Listen for the strength of the sound when he kind of starts to go up, and the very last note there when he reaches up, it's more kind of just raw and more kind of pure, I think. See how that one is? So that note there, in his range, of course, is very pure. Wow. Okay. So not a whole lot of new kind of breakthroughs as far as vocally for Dimash that I thought might be in there, but it definitely shows his maturity as an artist, where he's starting to really like take the message and then package it in a way that he can create a compelling video to tell that story. So that's definitely an evolution of him as an artist. So I just read a little bit more about the song and kind of the origin of it, and how Rinat really came up with the melody, and then Dimash kind of brought it to life. But it is, as I mentioned, and kind of going through the lyrics, it's a prayer, and it was influenced by COVID and the things going on in the world, and around kind of Dimash's desires, I mentioned, to instill hope in humanity and in the world, and help us to focus on the things that are really important. Yeah, so as I said, during the reaction, it was definitely like a prayer. And when he reached up to the heavens like that, I think that was like a gesture there that kind of, in the way that he approached that note, like I said, it was more just kind of a pure, raw tone, instead of like putting this resonance or vibrato behind it to make it more like kind of a performed note. He made it more like a cry to the heavens on that high note. These are the types of things that he does with his performances. There's always some kind of meaning behind why he does things a certain way. He's one of those artists that thinks everything through, and he was involved with directing this. So that every shot was set up and meant to carry a specific message, and it was very powerful, with like the blood going down the neck of the Kobiz, and the person playing the piano, where they just fell into the water like that. And yeah, I'm not sure what that symbolically is meant to mean, like those who are creating the music need to live on and not, die like that. I'm not sure if that's part of it, or others need to carry on the legacy. So like both of them were on fire, and then Dimash continued to sing. And so he was the one kind of carrying that through. And then I'm not sure why he had there was something going on with his face there at the end. So there's still a lot probably that I need to kind of understand and learn from this performance. So if any of you have any insights on that, if you could please include those in the comments below, I'd appreciate it. I always want to get the most full understanding of each of the performances from my artist. And there's a lot to this one from what I can tell. But I want to say what I've said before, and that is that I love Dimash. I love what he stands for. You can see from the reactions that I've done on my channel, I have, I think, 26 or so reactions to Dimash songs. And in some of those, there are reactions where one of my favorites is from Opera 2, where Kanat was there, and then Dimash didn't know. And then, he saw him after the performance, and they hugged and had their little interaction there, and the touching moment there. So, and then when Dimash sang with them, and My Dearest Mother reaction, things like that. So I love Dimash. I love his family. I think, he has the right motives behind being a global artist, and singing to the world and carrying a message forward with his songs. He wants to teach people about hope and loving others and the strength of the family and children, enjoying the simple things in life. And I think this is the perfect message for what's going on in the world right now. We need this. And this is a very timely message, a very timely song. And I'm glad that I jumped forward to watch it. So thank you to those that recommended that I do this. And it's really, it's neat to me to see Dimash and how he's grown, and how he's just kind of, taking it in stride and really evolving into this full artist where he's, directing the videos and creating this overall message and visual experience with the performance, right? Because with his other performances, he's usually live, he's usually a concert or a competition. Those are most of the ones that I've done reactions for, right? So this was a different experience to really see a full-on video. But yeah, it was awesome. And I might do the other one, the Karagai. I think there's another one. There's two that you guys recommended that are recent ones that he's done. So I'll have to look at that one and see if that's another one that's similar to this, that's important to react to. And then I'll go back to where I was at chronologically. I believe Love of Tired Swans was kind of one of the ones next on my list from 2018. So I'll go back and resume my journey with Dimash. But again, thank you all for your support. I hope that this video and the beautiful, profound words of this song speak to each of you like they did to me, and that you can enjoy the laughter of your children. You can have joy in the things that are simple in life, and the beauty that's around us and our families. And I'm grateful for all of my many blessings and freedoms, and for my family. And I'm grateful for each of you and for the lives that you're living. And I encourage you to be strong and to know that you are special and that you are loved. And if you need to come to this channel to feel that love, then so be it. I hope you do. I hope you feel that. But take care of yourselves. And I do have a bunch of new things. Check the description down below. for some of the links to some of the things that are available, including merchandise, which is available to help support the channel and to get your Singer Dad apparel. So if you want to check that out, or my Facebook or Instagram, that information is down below. But again, thank you very much and take care.